What do you expect to be different here in terms of your ability to help social entrepreneurs in the United States, starting in San Francisco, compared to what it's been like in Ontario and across Canada?
That's a great question. I mean, I think number one, that personally I would like to expand my net worth by at least $50,000.
You are very, very unambitious, sir. I thought Dr. Evil was going to go say 50 billion, but you said
I'm just kidding. But so I mean, really, our ambitions are those of the founders and partners that are local in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And so it's our objective to share the model of the SVX with what is emerging as an outstanding group of individuals and partners.
Yeah.
To be able to launch the SVX in the U.S. starting in the Bay Area and then moving beyond. I think our objective is as well to make sure that it has that local shape and local leadership, and that in line with the kind of parent objectives of the SVX, that we are increasing access to capital for ventures, for entrepreneurs, increasing their financial literacy and capability to raise capital so that they're prepared at the point of capital raise and that they are successful. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, that investors are able to identify high quality opportunities and have a positive experience and with these particular entrepreneurs. They reduce their burden of due diligence, both in terms of time and cost. And then ultimately, I mean, when we do our work, really, we say impact is what matters, right? So we want to make sure that these are enterprises that not only are viable investment opportunities, but they are moving the yardsticks on the most pressing problems that we face. And the team locally has identified some really great, and they'll be able to talk about that, areas of focus, and that's exciting. That's why we're here, right? Is that we can change a bit. We're not changing the world, not that ambitious, but being able to kind of change conditions and move enterprise and capital in a way that has impact. That's what we're trying to do.
That's great. So with that, I'm going to turn now to Anthony and to Deb as the local leadership team and sort of have them answer the same question, which is, you guys have seen a model, you think the model is worthy of bringing it to the San Francisco market, to the U.S. market. What do you two hope to accomplish here in San Francisco as a starting point, and how do you want to work with social entrepreneurs? What's the best way for you to partner with them?
I want to clarify something.
Yeah, sure.
We get ready to talk. So, a little bit of, I think what we'll talk about, in order to engage most effectively, requires a bit of background.
Yeah, sure.
So I just want to ask, how many of you all, prior to coming, got a chance to look at the SVX or anything about it online at all? Awesome, okay. And how many of you know anything about direct public offerings or got a chance to look at that stuff?
You might want to explain what a direct public offering is. I'm not sure. They may not relate exactly to that phrase, but I think they may know more about it if you put it more sort of a layman's term.
Well, I was thinking maybe, just because they're very brief, that we would get a chance to look at the videos.
Okay, sure.
One short videos online.
Okay.
And then I think that would set the stage for our conversation really well.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
Please. Yeah.
Cool. So Deb, if you want to outline the video.
Oh, I was going to do the bathroom. Need a video.
Adam.
Yes.
What video?
Adam's back. Is that interesting?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Of the individuals who raised their hand about starting a venture, is that here in the United States? How many in the United States?
Raise your hands.
Even if it's remotely a possibility of in the United States.
Yeah, raise them high, guys. Don't be shy. Raise them high.
What are we talking about? 7 or 8 or 9, maybe 10 individuals? Okay.
Yeah.
So
All for profit or?
No. This is a social entrepreneurial class. So these are social impact.
Corporate structure.
Okay.
Yeah.
but for-profit companies mainly?
Or any.
All? Any non-profit?
But for good reason. It's more of an accelerator co-creation lab.
You can still raise funds as a
We
non-profit.
all have dreams.
Go John. We've had dreams.
That's a good basis for what we want to talk about is understanding,
Yeah.
because the U.S. securities laws are so different from most anywhere in the world, and they're very difficult to navigate through. And that's why I wanted to know how many of you are going to have to navigate through the U.S. securities laws.
Yeah, many will. And they will do it with non-resident status, which will only complicate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
In the interest of time, so what I thought we would do is be able to show you a quick video about what the SVX is. And then Adam, because he's joining us virtually, you guys get a chance to ask him some questions. And then we show you one more video, which is, these videos are like 3.5 minutes and 1.5 minutes. Then we show you a video about work cutting edge capital around direct public offerings, so that then John and Dave and me might be able to engage with you on a more real-time basis. With some background. Does that sound okay?
Perfect.
All right. So here we start. Yay! So there's that one. And then I think it'd be worthwhile to see this one. It's a minute and a half. And then we'd be able to engage with Adam and John and the remainder of the
We all have dreams. For entrepreneurs, there's only so much of your hard-earned savings you can invest to make that vision a reality. When it's time to get funding for your business, you could go to a bank for a loan and possibly be turned down. You could go to a wealthy professional investor like a venture capitalist who may want control of your company and typically demands high growth and a quick payoff, making the 1% even richer. You could go to all kinds of people who care more about profit than the life of your business. But what if there was a better way to raise capital? The answer may be all around you. Your customers, neighbors, colleagues, friends, people who want to invest in Main Street, not Wall Street. Through a direct public offering, you can increase your pool of potential investors from the 1% to the 100%, simply by including, well, anyone. As an entrepreneur, you can give regular people the opportunity to make a real difference by investing in something they believe in. At Cutting Edge Capital, we're entrepreneurs ourselves and legal and finance experts, leaders in the field of investment crowdfunding. We give entrepreneurs the capital raising tools that help make their dreams a reality. It's your business. Don't compromise. Be a new capitalist in a new economy.
Great. So my hope is that context, that explains a little bit more about exactly what we do and what we're working on together to see happen in the United States and why our partnership with Cutting Edge Capital and John is so critical to this and the vision and vision alignment that we see. I think, Adam, you're still with us, correct?
Yes, I am.
Great. And so, is your camera, it doesn't work at all? I mean, is it? There we go.
It works. I thought you guys were off camera, so I didn't want to subject you to my hipster beard anymore.
In that case, we'll put it back up there. And are you cool to stick around with us for a little bit longer? Or?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. So maybe with that context now, kind of leading into, you're now launching this. You're launching it at SoCap, right? I know many of you attended SoCap, I believe, in September of last year, right? A lot of you did. So you're about to launch this formally at SoCap. So what will you tell the world when you show up at SoCap? What is your launch message? What are you looking to do?
Anthony, do it.
You want to do it. So what are we looking to do? I think we're looking to capitalize and adapt the great work that the SVX team in Canada, frankly, has done for something that is sorely needed in the United States. We want to do that in a very focused way. So we like the entire pipeline. So the SVX is not just an online platform. I think the technology is probably sort of a tenth of exactly what it's about and why it's so powerful. What I'm excited about is the fact that we're sort of coming at this problem and this opportunity from two sides. We are trying to seek out and support the entrepreneurs and inventors who are seeking this capital, but also bring along a growing base of investors who are interested in matching needs. I think we...
That's a great tagline. I love that.
And I think it encapsulates what we're trying to do, what we're trying to do. And I think at SoCap, what we want to share with the world is this amazing opportunity that we have. So at SoCap, we will share that the state of California, the state of California and the province of Ontario, hopefully will have a formal partnership around impact investing. So for us to be able to test out this particular model in the state of California with a focus on the Bay Area and some opportunity to learn from each other and to exchange entrepreneurs and investors over the next 2 years, I think. And yeah, so we're announcing to the world that beginning in the San Francisco Bay Area, with aspirations to grow across the state and across the United States, we're importing something really cool and to help prop up the social sector and make it grow.
And you mentioned an amount. Are you free to share sort of there's going to be some capitalization of the program as part of the partnership?
Yes. So I think we can talk pretty quietly.
Yeah.
So
Well, we're working on the commitments.
Right.
We're raising our money too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we have some pledged and we are recruiting the rest of that match right now. So to say a firm number,
Yeah.
but it's close to $500,000 off and running.
I'm quite honest
Yeah.
in understanding, I think, the needs of the investors, and the entrepreneurs and the investors who we want to work with.
Right. And Adam has said that there's going to be certain areas of focus that we bring to the Bay Area. What would those be? What are the sectors or the specifics, targets that you think are going to be the right ones to get started with?
So from a strategy perspective, I think about the foci that we want to target in this framework of the 5 E's, right? So education, the environment, economic opportunity, equity, which means sort of social equity, things that we would consider health, access to housing, transportation, sort of stuff, and the environment. So those are the areas that we would like to be pulling deal flow with a particular emphasis, and I think that this is important and really, really part of our DNA and what we want to accomplish here, is with a particular focus on historically undercapitalized groups of entrepreneurs. So those are women entrepreneurs, people of color, and certain groups of immigrants in the United States as well. So the SVX in the United States will, of course, broadly appeal to entrepreneurs of all stripes, but I think we're really going to prioritize trying to make sure that impact ventures with diverse and inclusive leadership have, particular focus.
And just to build on that, that kind of work is going to have to be subsidized. We have to work harder to find the deals and get them right. Right now, the system is set up for a certain kind of entrepreneur, and that doesn't work for everybody. So one of the reasons why we exist is to change that paradigm. And so we are going deeper into the networks to find entrepreneurs that have been left out of the system. And then we're also working with entrepreneurs that, for a variety of reasons, don't feel comfortable putting their money directly into deals. So a whole other stakeholder group is bringing on new types of investors. So you hear venture capital funds, you hear individual investors, but there's a whole other group of institutional funds, specifically in community foundations, that can be unlocked. And then there's the individual, the you and me, the non-accredited investor. And that's partly where our partnership comes with John and his team. How do we actually unlock the millions of dollars that are, at $50 a piece in each of our pockets? And how do we transform you to think of yourself as an investor? So we're doing kind of a couple audacious things here. We're trying to change the face of the investor and go deeper into who gets invested. Because when you change where that money goes, impact can drastically shift.
Yeah, and I'll add about direct public offerings. You might think that approaching socially responsible or impact investing or social enterprise world and connecting money between those kind of businesses and the non-wealthy investor, all of us, you might think that that's the one that trails. It's actually the opposite right now. So we've successfully launched 10 DPOs since we began a couple of years ago. We've got about another 25 in the pipeline, but just consider the 10 that we successfully launched. They've already raised over $5 million, okay? That's an average of $500,000 company. That's not just pocket change. So already we understand that there's a meaningful connection between entrepreneurs that want to include a lot of other people and want to keep control of their mission and their values, not have to believe that they're under the pressure of a very wealthy group of investors or a venture capitalist firm, but instead really believing that if they can raise funds from a larger group of people, from an all-inclusive group of people, that the message is loud and clear that those investors are saying to the entrepreneur, we believe in what you're doing, we understand what you're doing, we believe in it, and we're investing as a group, not as one or two or three or four people, that if you don't do what we think you should do, you're going to lose control of your company. It's a big difference there, right? So we know that it's working. We know that, I'll get in 1 second, we already see that it's happening, and it's happening fast. We've started to do webinars, and we're having hundreds of people coming on these webinars in the last month. Hundreds and hundreds. So we know it's there, and we know it's happening, but we want to expand the scope of this to be all-inclusive. What SVX built in Canada, what Anthony and Deb are bringing to the United States, completes that entire focus of what we wanted to do in the first place.
Cool.
Can we take questions?
Yeah, we can. Then let me just ask one more for qualification, we'll open up. So you're creating a multi-site platform.
Yep.
And there's got to be value, and I've got students in this classroom right now that are taking a disruptive business model innovation class, and we've been spending days on this stuff, right?
Great.
So you, like Airbnb had to do, they had to go out and they had to recruit people that were willing to rent their homes out, which wasn't a common thing to invite strangers into your home and give them the keys to the kingdom. So you are really working sort of the investor side of this multi-sided platform. You were looking to bring in John Public, right? And you were looking to mobilize them
Yes.
to invest for the first time in something they never even thought about investing in, which is social impact ventures. Different from a certificate of deposit or a mutual fund.
Yeah.
And you're giving them access to a whole different kind of asset class than they've ever had.
Well,
Right, so that's a
not
part of
ever.
it.
We're actually bringing back something that used to happen a lot.
Okay,
Before the advent of federal securities laws,
okay,
before the advent of the first regulatory law in the United States, which was Kansas,
yeah,
restricting everybody from outside of Kansas, people used to invest in their own community businesses all the time. If a grocery store was failing or needed cash, the community ponied up and invested.
yeah, okay. So crowdfunding only helps you because it is legitimizing. You see a lot of stores here in San Francisco, the rents are going up, right? Twitter moves in, Salesforce.com moves in, rents are going up, store owners are being asked to leave, and
Yeah.
the way they respond is they do crowdfunding.
Yeah.
So that they ask their patrons to put money, so that's gotta help legitimize.
It
It's
does.
sensitizing people to the fact that we're looking to the community to support us.
It helps legitimize it, but I think we're going to see a trend of exhaustion, asking people to give you money, especially when you're a for-profit enterprise.
Fatigue.
Why should I keep giving money to you if you're actually in the business of making a profit? Why don't we share in the profit that you're going to make? It's a radical idea, right?
Yeah.
You know?
People from Oculus, the guys that funded Oculus, didn't like that very much.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's,
Exactly.
all right, cool. So that being said, Diana, please, why don't we open it up? Because at the end of the day, this is really for those students who were thinking of raising capital. So Diana, please.
This is not too much about the money, but about your involvement with entrepreneurs. So I was wondering, being like the contact point between investors and entrepreneurs, how far do you go into your relationship with the social entrepreneurs, and if you have any part on their daily operations once they have raised the money?
Okay. We don't really want to go deep in that at all, but we don't want to see failures at the same time. Fortunately, in the way that we're doing fundraising and in the way that SVX started out, there are securities laws that require quite a bit from the entrepreneurs. Unlike crowdfunding, where anyone can post anything and just ask for something, even unlike the new Jobs Act crowdfunding that may or may not ever show the light of day, the way that they started doing it in Canada and will do it here in the United States, the way we do it, you have to get approval from the regulator. Regulation is a dirty word for a lot of entrepreneurs. I look at it really differently. I've been dealing with regulators all my life. They drive me insane to deal with them, but they do something really relevant and good. If we submit to the state regulator a DPO and it is not absolutely complete from who the entrepreneur is, a background check, whether they have their business plan tight, do they have their funding models well in place? Have they been around? If not, how are they going to satisfy investors, right? The state will not approve you. If you go a different route with a private placement approach where you're offering securities to wealthy investors, guess what? Regulation again. Why? A broker-dealer has to be in the middle of that process. And it's now the broker-dealer's responsibility of ensuring that you, the entrepreneur, have all the same things that the state ensures when we do a DPO. Same thing. I actually think that's a great thing because it says to the investor, you're not just throwing your money into something and hoping. You're throwing it into something that has been very strictly vetted by a lot of important, smart people.
And to this point, to this point, I think that in terms of how the engagement with entrepreneurs, like all the stuff that John mentioned, it sounds like a lot, right? It makes my head spin. But there have been two approaches to this that have been developed, one by Cutting Edge Capital and one by the SVX. And one of the things that we're working on together in the near future is figuring out how to merge those two approaches to entrepreneurship, supporting the ventures. So Cutting Edge calls the DPO boot camps, actually. So it's a sort of modular set of now available on the web workshops, basically, to help enterprises go through and prepare for the process of offering a DPO. Similarly, in Canada, there's something called the Impact 8, which is one of the, I feel like, the most exciting parts of the model. And so these 8 sessions that interested enterprises attend, and they get support from the team at Mars to get them investor ready or deal ready. And that disconnect is one that escapes entrepreneurs all the time, because people will tell you, more sophisticated investors will say, oh, well, the deals, there's just no quality deals, or they weren't deal ready. Well, what the hell does deal ready mean? A part of that is the Impact 8 and the DPO boot camps are about masking that process.
Right.
I was just going to say,